Hello and welcome to, another episode of the DomJake podcast. I'm your host, Dominic.
And I'm your host, Jake.
And, I hope you all had a happy new year. I sure have.
The acquaintance be forgot. Ever but do I?
Yeah. Happy New Year! Yeah, but yeah. Well, I didn't really have any episode ideas, so I figured this one's just kind of a hangout episode, is what I like to call it.
That's fair. We haven't had one of these in a while.
But of course, some of the topics that I might have may seem, as of this course, maybe a little dated as of the recording, but but I have things in mind that I want to talk about.
Yeah.
But I'm not have to really explain much. I'm just gonna dive right into this one.
Yeah, and also to explain a little bit about, what could happen today. It's, I guess, just one of those hangout episodes where it's essentially just anything that comes to the mind. Because honestly, we have like a bullet point list that we're probably going to jump into a little bit, but even like something, we could go on a little tangent, and that's okay.
Yeah, so it's like, I'm not going to go through every bullet point, but in fact, I can even think about something outside of it, but these are just some ideas.
And you could go off of every bullet point too.
Yeah.
Or you could not touch it at all. I don't know.
Doesn't really matter. But as of us recording, it is January still, and
yes,
it hasn't really been long. I mean, it's been a while since we had any like New Year's resolutions, and in fact, we might have not even done any of like those resolutions.
Oh,
yet?
Yeah. That's a good thing. You're bringing up the resolutions. Let me get up.
Or as you like to call them, bucket lists.
Yeah, I like to call them goals. Because after all is said and done, a lot of people don't really do resolutions. But if you kind of relabel it as like goals, then you could pretty much get away with it.
And it's a good thing. It's a good way to motivate you too, having resolutions instead of just
Yep. So the piece of paper that I ended up grabbing was the 2023 goal list, I guess. I have a physical list. I don't know if you did a physical list at all, but
I have not done any like written down resolutions.
Or did you even have any goals?
Honestly, I might have said something in the last holiday the holiday season. Now it's 2 holiday seasons ago, but I honestly don't even remember what they were.
Well, I remember mine because I'm staring at them.
That's good for you.
So I'm going to take a little. I guess I'll take a little bit of time just to kind of share what the whole list was, and then after it, I'm going to say what I did or didn't do. Right. So my whole list in no order, because some people like to do the most important one is at the top, and then they feel bad whenever they didn't cross it out. Well, I didn't do that. So in no order, before 2024, I wanted to finish Mario Maker 2 Squid Game. I also wanted to try to clear every room in the collaboration level that Samuson made for a streamer friend of, well, not yours, but mine, Elafair. Or at least tell Sam that it's not happening from me. It was very hard. I wasn't the one to clear it, so it wasn't happening from me. So at least I told him that, right? Next one on my list was post more podcast episodes for the DomJake podcast, right? And then try for more content as well. The next one was get money from a greedy corporation and keep it, which in essence means get a career, I guess. Not really career, just something. Um, then get a license. Um,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
get a license and try to try to succeed within 3 attempts, right? I gave myself three
Mhm.
fails, and strike one, two, three. That one, as you know from the driving episode, technically I didn't need three, but whatever. We'll get to that at the end. I wanted to do exercise at least every other day. Eat more
Mhm.
healthy. This will be super hard considering who shops. I'm not the shopper. Um, get 9
Oh.
possible events for my D&D campaign. I know D&D is random. It's pretty much guided based off of who's playing and their ideas, but still, I want to have some ideas. Next one, number 8, finish the letters slash alphabet for my language for the D&D stuff. Next one, write a decent portion of the lore for VTuber design. I could even design them all too. Which, and then the next one, get going on new wave production content. It's dependent on other people. I did have goals that I wanted to get going after that, but those are the 10 that I had for that year of, well, last year, 23. And
Mhm.
of those 10, I successfully did. I finished my Squid Game Mario Maker 2s. I at least told Sam that I wasn't going to clear the collaboration level.
Mhm.
We did post more podcast episodes, and we did try for other content. So technically, 3 successes so far. Fourth one, I did get a position. I mean, I only worked 1 week, but I wasn't fired and I didn't quit. So technically, I still have a job.
Hmm. Uh, I
I
was literally gonna ask. I was literally gonna ask you that in the before. I was like, "Are you even still getting?"
No, I mean, like, I'm still on the payroll and I still get the emails and I'm still, told to, oh, you
Hmm.
gotta accept your payroll because they switched to a digital one, which means
Yeah.
every 2 weeks I'm basically like logging into the website being like, yes, I worked 0 hours, confirm.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't put your eggs in one basket just yet. We'll just see how it goes.
I did get my license in 1 attempt, not three, so I did pass that one. Um, I
Mm.
did not exercise at least every other day because I got lazy in like, I don't know, June, July or something.
Yeah. Mm. Well, if you're gonna go to the gym, well, go to a place that's got like people that can help you too.
I did eat more healthy and I did do, calorie counting and keeping track of things. Um,
Yeah.
I did not get 9 events for D&D. I did not do that, but I did finish the letters of the language, and
Mm-hmm.
I did write a decent portion for VTuber design, but I didn't get going on the new wave production things. So technically, I would say 2.5 of those I failed. That is
Uh,
my extensive list of 2023.
all right. So, do you have anything for this year,
I do,
or
but
did
it's
you?
it's on my wall. It's also on a small index card, and want to I don't want to take off the tack. You know what? Look in the description below. I have my or you know what? I
um,
could probably take a photo of it. Wait a minute, I might not be able to take a photo because of my space.
probably not a good idea, but
I could
yeah, I
probably
did not.
copy and paste it or
I,
something.
I have not. Yeah. So, yep. As for me, I have not written um any like resolutions on a list. I honestly, I guess the one goal for last year is to get a job. Really, like start looking for more jobs. But and I had happened to have gotten one, and I've been working there since.
I am curious though. I might do some research into the that holiday episode where we pretty much set up
I want to listen to
our
that again.
2023 one. Like I
I
I
want to listen to
knew
that again.
I knew that I was writing these down. Like I knew this. Like because I
Hmm.
have a physical list, I knew what I wrote ahead of time. You, I mean, you supposedly don't have a physical list, whether it's, technology or a handwritten note or whatever. But I'm curious if you said, like, yeah, I have a goal of something that you forgot about.
This time has definitely passed since then, but I will, I think, look back on that episode, re-listen to it, and think about what were my goals.
Maybe one of your goals could have had to do with the license permit front.
Oh, which speaking of, I do have do want to talk about that for a bit too later on.
Sure. Well, we did spend like 20 minutes mostly on me, but
I
going
do.
through
So let's talk
going
about
through the
this.
resolution. So what else do we have?
Okay, actually, I do want to talk about my only. I guess I only had one resolution, which probably won't surprise you so much. I guess implement more protein, kind of like in my diet, and
You say won't surprise me that much? That surprised me.
because like because I go to the gym. I guess to you. I guess I didn't know if that surprised you or not.
No, I mean it surprised me, but like I just thought you went to go. I didn't think you were trying to gain anything. You get some swole.
I guess what I would want to do is lose some belly fat that I have.
Not
I guess that's
not in this house, man. You cannot say that. Oh, you just want to lose some belly fat that you have. You kidding me? I'm like 90%.
oh, but nah, it's probably. I mean, maybe in a sense I have already done like what my goal is. Who knows? But I really don't have. Okay, I guess my only goal for this year is what's going to be the next topic of this podcast is I guess the whole
Segue.
permit license.
That's a great
thing.
segue.
I mean, hey, I can't say that I didn't try, but to give you an update, I did not pass the permit test.
Boo. No,
but I'm sure plenty of people have failed it the first time, but that doesn't mean you can't try a second time.
Yeah.
I think I found out why I failed the first time.
What was the reason?
Because okay, so I did the practice test, but however, that's not to replace the manual that you're supposed to read. Because I don't know much all about it, but I had to actually read the manual.
Mm-hmm.
That's really the only reason why I failed, but also kind of balancing that and also DJ podcast stuff.
True. Which
okay, so that I'm gonna try to kind of get going on
and
this again as eventually.
Do we want to bring up let's just say a 3-letter word in regards to that?
DMV. Oh no.
BET.
Bet. Oh God. You yeah.
Yeah, I could bring that up. So essentially, like I don't know. This was probably in November, maybe October. Who knows? Maybe this was even June or something. I have no idea.
I think I remember this conversation. I was at the movie theater when we were talking about this.
Something, whatever. But essentially, the short version is, eventually I had an idea of, you know what, Dom could probably use this as motivation. So I asked him, hey, do you want to maybe make a bet? Say like, hey, if you don't have your permit in your hand by January 1st, 2024, then you owe me 10, and I will owe you 10 if you do have it in your hands before 2024.
But that's not the reason why but yeah, I'm not doing the permit just for that because I do want to actually drive at some point.
No, sure, but sometimes
just to clarify, anyone who's gonna, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be completely honest, I pretty much did close to that. Like genuinely, the reason why I have it is because it's a travel document. It makes it easier to board a plane if I have.
But no, it was a way to motivate me to actually try to get it.
And that's why I did it, pretty much. I didn't want to do something like, oh, guess what? $1,000 if you... No, I didn't want to do that. But I figured like, oh, $10 could probably be like, I don't know, 1/4 of a centimeter of gas or something for a car,
Mm-hmm.
right? No, $10
Yeah.
doesn't get you anything these days, right? No, but
Not anymore.
I just
Maybe
figured
I.
that 10 would kind of push you in the right direction. And luckily, you eventually did, schedule yourself a permit test. You did tell me that you studied a little bit and took some practice tests and all of these things. But the only reason why I won the bet, technically, because by technicality, he waited until like, I don't know, December to schedule his thing,
Oh,
which
you
meant
know
that January 10th was, so it means
that's big.
automatically I won the bet because it wasn't
But
in advance.
well, I wanted to give myself as much time to study as I could. That's why I gave myself a month.
And you also wanted to give me the money, right? That's
Sure.
I won the
Okay,
money.
Mr. Krabs.
And
But no, it was really more of like it was mostly a motivation type of thing.
I still do have that
But
second bet if you wanted to take it. I might
well,
have to adjust it because a whole month went by pretty much. I might have to adjust it, but the next one could be a license bet, and it could be for 20.
mm-hmm.
But we didn't
Maybe.
we didn't shake on that. I just fluttered it into the universe. You didn't
But
say
yeah.
yes, I didn't say we're doing it. We didn't shake, but it is
Mm-hmm.
fluttered out there. The
Yeah.
ball's in your court.
But yeah. So with that I might try to work on. But this kind of reminding me of another resolution that I have, and I'm kind of going back and forth with the whole topics. But I do want to try to get more like my own like stuff on there too, not just like not just the podcast and not also our stuff, but yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, we.
'cause- yeah, I don't know if you remember this conversation, but like at this point, maybe 2 years ago or something, we were like, oh, geez, we've been writing all of these documents, we've been planning out all of these things, but we have really nothing. Like, we've been planning this stuff since, what
Really,
was it,
actually,
like
I
2016 or something?
no, I remember is when we were sophomores in high school is when we had this all like idea planned out because we were all these excited. We were these two excited teenagers
Yeah,
who also
2015, 16, right? That
yeah,
era.
it was like the fall of 2016. I remember we were like really excited about like have our own channel.
Like, the only reason this podcast even exists is literally due to the fact that fast forward 5 years or something, we still haven't done anything with it. And I was like, you know what? Let's put something on here. And something. We have 30 somethings now.
And as of now, we don't have any plans to stop. Even when we're doing other content, we still have no plans to stop the podcasts.
But yeah, I mean, hey, I'm glad that we've been able to get a few guests last year, right?
Yeah, we
Like,
definitely have gotten.
it wasn't just a study hall session where it's just the two of us like writing characters and funny script ideas that we've never done anything with. We have
Yeah, we.
freaking like probably hundreds of documents that we're not even touching, but hey,
Oh my God! It's like we have. Hey, it's there for us to look at,
it's
but
there for us to use. We'll get to
but
it
but we just
eventually.
gotta. But once eventually, when we get to a point, we can maybe hire somebody to animate a said thing, which we're not going to talk about.
I mean, we could talk about it, but you know, not in detail.
But yes, but maybe by then we'll still have the energy to still want to do this. But because, however, we've been seeing certain creators that either taking long breaks or hey, I want to leave. But it's like I want to. Yes, I want to get other that out on our channel.
And we're getting there.
Yes,
Getting there.
but we're there, but yeah, always obstacles, just like anything in life.
Yeah.
Of course, not everything's going to be out immediately, but also it's a good thing we're not rushing things because then it gives us time to
Time if we spend so long on it, though,
yeah,
we'll just
that's
never
what I was.
do anything with it.
That's what I was gonna say. It's like, but at the same time, there's got to be some like deadline.
Like
But
I really want it to not be posted in March. Like I'm
I don't.
giving us like very last day of February because it always changes. Is it 29 this
It's
year?
there. Yep, it is a 29 this year. So
It's a 29er.
so if anybody's got a birthday on that day, happy early birthday.
Right.
But
You won't have a birthday until 4 years from now.
yeah. So you're likely if you're in your 20s, you're likely leap years. You're probably still like 12.
Yeah, that's gotta be something awkward whenever it comes to like like giving your ID to like a clerk or something. It's like, huh, you've only had 5 birthdays before, and you're saying you're 21? No, you're not. You're 5.
You're 5 years old. Why are you there? Why are you saying that you're
Sure looking toddler you are.
wow, you're a hairy like elementary school kid.
Continue on this pathline because that could get a little bit
No.
worse than last episode's contents.
Yes. But
Mm.
yeah, well, of course I've been even as somebody who's a creator, I've even as somebody who's also watches YouTube too, I've been noticing other creators like either stepping down
Mm-hmm.
for one reason or another. And because they've been on the content for over a decade. And speaking of, oh my god,
Some of that's the case.
Yep. I mean, I haven't dug into this debacle yet, but we did recently hear about Matt Pat that's gonna quit. Well, not quit, but step down a bit. But we're still like he's gonna step down.
So basically, for those of you who don't know, which at this point, I don't know if a lot of you out there don't know who he is, but Matthew Patrick is basically the guy behind game theory, film theory, food theory, and now style theory. Those 4 channels where, just talks about many different aspects of pop culture because, it kind of encompasses everything.
Mm-hmm.
This is
But
stuff like how strong is Steve from Minecraft, or how many people would Lady Gaga's meat dress feed, or
why is the ice cream machine from McDonald's always broken?
probably that too. A lot of various different
There's
things. It started out with just him and his wife, well, then girlfriend, I think, because
his
they weren't
girlfriend
married
and
10 years ago, right?
girlfriend, and I think it's his then wife because I heard and then he also has kids too.
Oh,
But
I
he
mean,
was
he's now married. I know that, but like,
at the
it's
time it was
yeah. At the time, I think it was just. I think they were just high school sweethearts. I could be wrong. I could be mistaken, but
yeah.
essentially, he's just the guy who does theories in this voice, right? Like something like that. But
Food theory. But
whatever type of theory, right?
yeah, it could be literally, it could even be a theory about literally anything, like what's hair grow out, like anything, but maybe not that specific example.
Are
But
you shaving your face wrong?
well,
Are
that could
you
be
supposed to wash your legs in the shower? Can you
like
be
that's
allergic
his
to
new
color?
style theory. That's like kind of his new thing. But
Yeah,
yes,
that's what I've been kind of binging.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know if you can tell.
I only ever watched the one where you talk about shaving.
Yeah, I didn't get there yet because I'm kind of going based off of, oldest to newest. And
But
last one I did was the Lady Gaga one. So,
hmm yeah.
but yeah, not
But
only Matthew Patrick. Um, we're seeing. Let's see. There's Papa Meat. He's like known for like the animations, like the messed up ones, right?
Oh, I've heard. Yes, I've definitely heard of.
Like there was a Nikocado one where it's like everything he touches turns to like meat, and then at the end of it, he's like in a meat world, and like he touches his arm and he just starts eating. It was very dark stuff.
I'm kind of getting him confused with Meat Canyon.
That's
If
the
you know
same
who that
person.
is.
It is the same
I know,
person.
I know. Okay, I know. I was gonna.
That's the
Okay,
same person.
that makes definitely sense. You didn't.
Right. It should make sense. It is him.
Yes, but
He
those guys
just
are
has
stepping back.
he has two different channels. I'm referring to Papa Meat. You're
But
referring to Meat Canyon. Same person.
I forgot what other guy. I forgot there was one other guy that stepping back, but after 10 years straight of just non creation.
Tom Scott is
That must
stopping.
be.
He's
I think.
like known for his tech sort of talk, not TikTok, but his technology talk, his science talk, and geography talk. Basically, a little bit about everything. So he's been doing this sort of thing even before 10 years, right? Like even longer than 10 years because he's been doing things on his own, like websites
Mhm.
beforehand. So he's been doing this for like 20 years or whatever. And he's stepping back to focus on like other ventures too, like his podcast, where it's basically just like four people, him included, um, where like their research writing team will come up with various like kind of riddles that are kind of written in like a specific way, but these are real things that happened. So
Mhm.
just off the top of my head, one of them, and I'm going to paraphrase the riddle because I don't remember it word for word, but it's something like in, I don't know, 2012, someone got paid $431 for spending I don't know 3 hours in jail, right? And
Mhm.
the other three are supposed to be like, huh, so does this have anything to do with the topic here? No, it
Mhm.
does not have anything to do with it. So they're trying to go back and forth to narrow down what that thing is. The answer ended up being, well, because he was in a Monopoly like where they won the match by repeatedly going to jail all the time.
Mhm.
And that was how they won, 431. And I think like 431 is the amount of, maybe it's not that, it's probably a lot more than that, but they won money that a standard set of Monopoly would have, right? um,
Mhm.
the equivalent of that. So he's stepping back to do a lot of those like riddle sort of things. It's a fun
Mhm.
time, and most of them are like 6 to maybe 10 minutes long. Like they're interesting things. Those
Mhm.
ones.
Ah,
Only real
it's.
people. Um, the few episodes back, I believe, with Lulu one, and actually technically today because I mentioned the word VTuber in my old resolutions. And I've throughout last year and this year, our agency VTubers are stepping down from the company, whether they're terminated or just stepping down themselves. Um,
I
so,
still get another. Mhm.
like, a big one that is stepping down is Pomu. Pomu
Mhm.
Rain Puff, Rain Cloud.
I
I don't
honestly,
really
I don't
know the
even.
last name, but she's pretty much responsible for all of Western folks getting into that first place because she was one of the first English members of Niji Niji Sanji.
Mhm.
Um, all of this is basically a new language to Dom. You've never heard of any of the things that I'm saying, but um,
Yeah.
it's basically you already know what a VTuber is. It's just someone who streams with a digital like avatar, right? Uh,
Yeah.
you know that Neji Sanji is a management not a management company, like a corporation who owns like 100 of these people who use, digital avatars to stream to their demographic or whatever, right?
Yeah.
She's one of the first ones in the first what do you want to call it, generation of
Sure.
English of
Mm-hmm.
of Nijisanji En, which has everyone in shambles, at least in the community. At this point, she's gone. She's not in the company anymore, but that was because she stepped down on the 17th, I believe. So a few days back. Um, and that had I'm not someone who watches every single one of them all the time because I would literally have no life if I did that. But
Like,
I do occasionally like look at like clips and stuff like that, funny little moments from
it's probably one of those things you would probably play in the background while you're doing other things.
possibly because a lot of the times it's like a just chatting thing, so you could just listen to someone talking about that one time that they high-fived a random person in Korea. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Pomu stepped down. Um, I want to say Selen Tatsuki is stepping down. She might be fired. I don't know. This is just hearsay for this one. Oh, here's someone you might have actually seen. I'm again talking about another VTuber, but remember the same one that we were talking about with Lulu, right? Did you see the whole episode and how janky it was, or anything else?
I haven't like watched it really much yet.
Yeah, you didn't like it. So when we were talking about like that Indonesian person who was teaching Australian how to say like a foreign word,
Oh yeah, we were talking about also talk,
right? But Todd, right?
but
Um,
you also got to be able to mimic, like she mentioned. You also got to mimic the flaws too to kind of help make it better. I don't know.
right, true. But to get back to it, um, Sana, the Australian in that clip, because I did actually put the clip in the video, which if you didn't see it,
Yeah,
but
I am not.
regardless,
I'll look at.
I did end up the Australian one, the girl, I guess, the one getting taught.
Mhm.
She stepped down at this point. I think 2 years ago. She was one of the English hololivers that
Mhm.
uh, stepped down. Now she was getting pretty sick, so she
Mhm.
couldn't meet the corporation's standards of you should have a lot more streams than just this. Um, but her step down was that was an emotional time for a lot of people because she was one of the Hololive greats, right?
Mhm.
It's definitely not just regular people. It's
No, but
also, people inhabiting different models for different corps.
yeah.
There's
So it's
different
like, of course, I'm sure there's people freaking out about them stepping down because, well, these people have watched them since they were since the viewer was probably like a young like kid in school. So freaking out about, oh, why is my favorite YouTuber going? They're real people too. No, it's like, the term dance monkey, and that's also a song. Viewers are like, hey, keep entertaining me. Who cares about your personal life?
Well, a lot of the times, I mean, this is to kind of be a little bit of a devil's advocate here, but some of the times people don't think that they are real people. Some people just turn it on because it's a reliable source of entertainment. Like
Yeah.
a lot of
Um,
people, I mean, we're older, so we know the truth, but a lot of people would think that Elmo is just a red furry thing. Nobody
he's a,
under them.
he's I'm sure as kids we all thought that, but nope.
And
The curtain.
there's no such thing as a person who's inside Big Bird, right?
No, not at all.
It's just
All
a big bird, right?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's what a lot of people think that a lot of these like YouTubers are. In the same sort of sense as, oh, Saturday Night Live or something. It's like, yeah, they're real people who are playing these characters, but I'll never meet them. I don't know who they are.
I envision being that person. Like every day, you're walking to the public, and then all these people are surrounding you.
Oh, you're talking about from the perspective of someone being.
Them, like just not the viewers, but even just the like as the entertainer.
But yeah, to shed a light of um, sympathy to the who are either being fired or they are stepping down on their own accord. Remember that there are definitely people behind these
Hmm. Yeah,
figures, right?
yeah. Like guess what? There's definitely the guy behind Big Bird. There was the guy behind Ernie and Bert. People actually, because they're not played by the same person, but you get the point.
And I'm not even just saying like the puppets, but like Tom Scott and Matthew Patrick and Papa Meat. They are real
Hmm.
people, and also the people behind like Pomo, like I was saying. Um, have worries and struggles too. So just remember that if you feel bad, and I'm talking to everybody out there, if you feel bad, you can feel bad too, right? Um,
Hmm.
these these content makers, some of them literally just 24/7 thought of work, work, work. Even when they're on a vacation, they're like, how could I turn this topic into content? So
Yeah, it's
whenever
like
they step down, we should respect that. Just think they're set with it.
yeah. If I'm on a vacation, I want to enjoy it.
And a lot of these people were not as, I mean, obviously they enjoyed it, but there were probably downtime where they were like, okay, video idea, whenever they didn't have to.
Yeah,
I know Matt Pat was saying, like, his kid is now like 4 or 5 or whatever, and he's like a smart kid. And it's like, even though he's there for him every single day, it still felt like he was just walking away from his kid.
hmm. Yep. And well, but the point is, it's like, yep, they're people too. They're not just like robots, just to make you laugh, make you smile. But yes, obviously you want to be happy, but they're also they should be happy too.
The plug needs to be pulled sometimes.
Yes, definitely.
And it's a good thing that they're deciding to step down, not like, oh, YouTube hates them now, right? Off with
Hmm.
your head. You're not making the platform money, so you gotta go. No, it's a good thing that
Yeah,
they're stepping down on their own accord.
yeah, definitely. But also these channels and also like content that's not YouTube. There's also the nostalgia for that, you know, when these guys step down, they're gonna remember. The viewers are gonna reminisce. Oh, this guy is like, oh, I like him better than all these modern YouTubers. But the truth is that really, those kids, I guess the kids today that like this modern YouTuber, of course, 10 years from now, they're gonna say, oh, this guy was much better.
That's,
That's something.
that happens in every single facet, even when it comes to other events, not even entertainment stuff, right? Like there's
But
always
yeah,
somebody today who says my stuff is great, and then 10 years from now they're gonna say my stuff is better than now.
say, oh, the '90s was much better. Well, you got well, really, of course, it was better for them because they were kids and they didn't have responsibilities.
Like truly better in the '60s, right? Is it truly better when they were still like getting different based off of different beliefs and values, which I guess is still technically happening today. but we are a lot more understanding of different values, and we're accepting so as a population than we were back in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
But
But
think about, like, nowadays, right? Now it is 2024. Maybe in 2044, we solved every problem in the world. I don't think it will happen that quickly, but let's just say that it does, right? Every problem is solved. There's no more homelessness. There's no more, you know, health epic. There's nothing problematic like that. The only problems is, natural disasters, because you can't really stop those. But you can detect them, but you can't stop them.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it's like, okay, things. I don't know. It's like on perspective and like generational, like all that term before.
Oh my god, don't get me started. I could probably do a whole recording on this one.
But it's like, okay, it's like, of course not. It's got their own flaws. That's all I can say. That's really all I can say.
I mean, I could definitely say a lot more than that, but I could say, okay, that something I could say that won't take a lot of time is, for as long as there's been written data, the are alive always spoke down about the younger generations that are, just starting. Like today, we always hear about, baby boomers basically being like, millennials and Gen Z and Gen Alphas are lazy and they all expect things to be handed out to them. But in 1920, the parent generation were basically also saying the same thing, just in different wording.
Well, that's like what I was sort of thinking too.
It's like, like you were saying, it is a matter of perception. It is their perspective. Why wouldn't I prefer things to go back to 2010? And not just, economics where, okay, well, 2008, there was a crash, but,
But
but,
I don't know.
but regardless, it's also a mixture of like, oh, well, nobody in my life passed away at that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot less people at a reunion. Not that we really go to those. We're not really that big on that, unfortunately. But we're seeing a lot less people. We're seeing a lot more obituaries recognized. But the thing is, a lot of people say, gotta live in the now, right? Don't worry about the past. Understand the past and remember the past, but don't live in
of
the
course.
past.
But it's like, I don't know, like personally, it's like, of course I'm gonna reminisce like my childhood, but I can't go back to it because, obviously time is linear.
Geez, I know you're not big on the topic, but you've at least heard of like the people who grew up in the 1995 who only played the first Pokemon games, and they look at the current ones, and they're like, oh, it's not as great as the first one.
Well, yeah, the
It's because
thing about
they were young playing the first one.
that's the same can be said about like any like type of thing at that when they were little. It's like, oh, guess what? Today's kids who love Coco Melon, 20 years from now, they're gonna say, "Oh, Coco Melon was a better show than Super Dog and his dumb pets."
A dog that has pets.
Yes, pets. You get the whole gist, but
Oh,
still, it's
I
like
get the idea, but like whenever
super.
you.
But it's like, okay, no, you're not tinning anymore.
Okay, great.
But the point is, it's like, oh, like, yeah, or let's say Paw Patrol is a better show than this new age show.
That's even if they're new age shows, because now everything's being like a remake, right? Or a spin-off continuation.
We're already kind of living in a world of reboots at this point.
We're in it, but luckily there
The only
are
reason
originals. There still are.
definitely, but Of course, I like some new original stuff, but the only reason why people like the old stuff is because they were like young and they were little at a time when they didn't have responsibilities.
But getting back to the Pokemon thing, though, if someone who was 10 today, right, and
Hmm.
their first ever thing is Scarlet and Violet because that's the most recent one, and they go back to the front and they're like, well, this one doesn't have Lation in it. Well, this
Hmm.
one doesn't have Fairy type in it. A whole typing is gone. Oh, this one only has 151, whereas
Yeah.
mine has 1,050 or something.
Well, yeah.
Like, of course, the person who's raised it today, when they have the most advanced, well, okay, more advanced stuff than 20 or whatever, of course, like this more. Because they're
Yeah.
raised on.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, like, whenever it comes to restaurants and stuff like that, right? Like, back in the day, oh, I used to really love going to, I don't know, Starship Diner. It was an 80s that it closed in the early 90s. I made it up, but I don't know if Starship Diner is a thing, but it could be.
Or
Um,
Starship, yeah, or just like Tiana's Burger Guys.
but
Let's
it
just
but it closed in the early 90s. Oh, none of these burger places or diners will ever get close to my experience at Starship. Well, maybe think about it a little step further. Maybe Starship Diner was just where you spent the most time with your parents, and that's the reason why you liked it better. Maybe it wasn't that the
yeah.
omelet was superior then. It could have
Like,
been. I'm not saying it wasn't, but
well,
might just
keep in
be
mind.
tinted glasses.
Oh, yeah, nostalgia tinted glasses. But well, plus that diner, well, it's probably a family recipe and you happen to like that recipe, but that's not the point. But um oh, but let's say though about like the games that you see on the Switch versus like the GameCube games, and the one thing I will say is back in those days before I'd be able to like watch trailers for like new games or anything or other games that are out. In those games, if bonus like feature or one of the bonus content, you get trailers in those games themselves that you cannot really get on like, Switch games. But that's because as a kid, that was kind of normal for me.
I wasn't really. Yeah, I could take or leave that sort of thing, because I'm someone who kind of doesn't really watch trailers as it is anyway.
I
Because
mean, but
most of the trailers basically being like, "Oh my God, I see just snapped and half the population is gone
but
now. Oh my God, the trailer showed that Spider-Man fizzled away."
it's
Like
like you don't
really
even.
big stuff
It's
you put in the trailer? Really?
but yeah, it's yeah, but it's like yeah, but those things like you don't really get like on like modern consoles, but that's because at the time there was like you couldn't really go online to watch a trailer. But that's the boomer right there. But
That's the difference of 2 years.
like two or three generations from now the consoles.
But
But
straight up, like I think was a little bit not the layout, but the materials that the controls were made out of.
mhm.
Very fast when things are made cheaply, right?
Oh my god, they'll drift.
You'll as well think about lazy Joy-Con for controls. You're pressing left as hard as you can, and it's still going right.
Yeah. Huh. Um. Well, like 2 years and a month ago when Spider-Man No Way Out, and almost every not every single but good majority of them said Tobey Maguire was the best Spider-Man. Was he really the best Spider-Man, or was it really just out of you were young when he was popular, or you were young when those movies came out?
To be fair, I
And
don't really. there is a best Spider-Man because they all offer.
They all offer different. That's what I think. Even at the time, I was like telling people, it's like, okay, I think they just like him out of like the older guy out of pure nostalgia.
Like,
that's really.
Someone said that like the Toby, the Toby Peter Parker was better, and like the what was the other guy? Andrew?
Oh, Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield.
Yes.
Yeah. And then like the actual Spider-Man was better of Andrew, but his Peter Parker sucked or something like that. And then someone said
like...
that oh my god, I'm blanking on names today.
It's like
what was Spider-Man now?
Tom Holland.
Oh, Jesus, I couldn't think of his name for some reason, even though his name is plastered on every single website you name. But Tom Holland, like some people were basically saying, like, and yeah, this guy is an 80% great Peter Parker and an 80% great Spider-Man. So it's like a lot of people say that Tom Holland is best when it comes to comparing, but he doesn't come close to, you know, one of their Spider and one of their Peter Parkers, right?
I've heard that comparison before.
Which, I mean, this is probably because I'm not really big on the Marvel universe as it is, but I've seen more of Tom Holland's stuff, so maybe I like his stuff more. I don't know.
Or the people who watched Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man when they were young, they're gonna like him more. But I think all three of them have their own unique characteristics, so I can say I like them equally as much.
Yeah, that's completely fair. None of this is to say that anything from the past is worse or anything.
No.
Or we're not saying that it's the best or worst. We're just saying it was a different experience because, well, you were in a different place.
Yeah, well, it's all personal experience.
And ain't that the truth, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of personal experiences, well, technically not like a me thing. This is a little bit kind of on the sad, solemn side. It's real. It's not like last episode where everything was fake. Yes, we're allowed to say that now. Episode 30, everything was fake. We put everything in the warning in the beginning of the episode, but yes, it was all made up. But this is actually real. Back in, I want to say 2015 or something, there was a feminist, I think, who did an experiment where she dressed up like a man for like a year. She couldn't even make it a year because like all were being so rude and you know, at the end of it, the reason why she couldn't make it to a year is because she physically didn't last a whole year. She took her own life. Which is it's a sad commentary whenever like you're going from, let's say, 0 to age 28 as a lady, right?
So you're
getting all of your what's this?
So it's like you have your whole you.
Well, the thing is, like, you spend your whole life living on one end of the spectrum, and find out that the other side had it worse.
Yeah, that's like, I don't know. Maybe because she had a bad experience, or all the guys were part. So now she's probably, maybe I'll let me try dressing up as a guy and see what it's like.
Like the reason was she just wanted to experiment and see what life was like on the other side. And let's just say, as a masculine, on that masculine side, people were just ruthless.
Oh my god! Out there, out there can be. They have no.
That's unfortunate.
I mean,
you think about things happening like on it, right? Like you'll see some trolls basically being like underneath a popular post, they'll be like, "Yeah, you might have donated to charity, but you still look like you have a big ass nose, right?" Or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Think there are people
Yes.
usually. I mean, sometimes it's bot accounts, but like usually, so the tides were turned. Person was picking on you as a nobody troll, right?
I can only just
That, like,
um,
I don't like things like this, but if that was to happen, the is suddenly seeing 5 million. I'm making it up, but 5 million inbox messages saying you should off yourself. Numbers matter when it comes
mm-hmm.
to that, right?
Yeah.
If someone's weak enough, and I'm kind of word
Your mood, your behavior.
I'm saying like an estimation. Geez, it's not an approximate thing. To put it into perspective, someone could be weak enough to start trolling somebody, but on the other end of the spectrum, they find out what it's like to be trolled. One of two things, well, maybe more than two things. For the sake of this, I'll say one of two things could happen. One, they realize that the thing doing was rude and called for, and two, they listen to the negative. They if
Mm-hmm.
that
No, you.
and
I
the
mean, you
one
don't.
message could change everything.
Mm-hmm.
And similarly to that lady who dressed up for, well, I think most of it until you're on the other side.
You don't know what it's like until you put yourself in that person's shoes. Even if those
Yes.
shoes have been worn out, you still gotta put your foot in that shoe.
And that is kind of why I think that it would be a great idea if, see, say every year, like jury duty. Is that something where like the government tells you you have to do it unless if you want to spend a night in a cell or something, right? I think it would be a benefit if science got to a point where we physically can live in each other's perspectives, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not for like a nasty, gross, like, oh, I get to look at this person's body naked. No, not like that.
Oh, mm-hmm.
That's obviously gonna happen as a result of it.
I'm sure somebody's gonna
Somebody's going
take that.
to.
There's that one creep that's gonna do that.
But for the sake of being able to understand what life is like on various different sides than you might be in,
Mm-hmm.
I think valuable that's a valuable thing that I don't think we could do really to that extent yet. I mean, you can you can, take a few pills and in years you might be able to experience things on the other side. But
Mm-hmm.
that's also if you wanted to go through that. Um, let's just say conservative Bobby over here might not want to go through that.
Nah.
Spending 5 years just to look at life a different way, they might not want to do that.
Probably not. No.
But maybe if it was like literally like a teleporter, transporter, or whatever, something like that, where it's one button and there you go. Now you're suddenly in the other mindset, right? Suddenly you've changed into from test subject one to test subject two.
Yeah.
A lot of benefits could come actually looking from somebody's shoes, not just to think about how somebody else's mind is going through them. At the end of the day, we can make well it must have been terrible for all of the German Jews being sent to these camps to finish the rest of the story because,
Yeah.
history will
Not.
tell you that.
Hmm. But
But at
yeah.
the end of the day, I'm not Jewish, so I don't really know. I
Yeah.
couldn't really put my mind in that position, or
Hmm.
since the two of us, let's just say Audis, right? We don't know
Yeah.
what a time of the month personally feels like.
We don't know. We don't.
A lot of things would be beneficial if everyone knew what everything felt like. And
I'm sure.
on the opposite end of the spectrum, if you have an innie, getting kicked in the nards.
Yeah. Well, maybe 20 years from now we'll actually physically feel something.
And we'll also be able to have hologram meatloaf and join
Yeah.
Plankton for a bite. My
Oh,
favorite.
and and have a nice like fresh Krabby Patty.
Oh,
You know,
even better, right? I was just talking about sad holographic meatloaf.
my favorite. Yep.
Um,
But you know what? Or go to the Krusty Krab, home of the Krabby Patty. But
I wanted
we
to
don't.
bring up something since
Well,
I kind of felt like
it's here on this episode. But before we go, I think we could squeeze in one little topic, and I think this is a personal project that you might have. So, would you like to talk about that?
me personal projects. What? I thought I lived in the DomJake in the closet, right? I
Well,
thought I lived in the cupboard of your garage and was always pulled out only to do recordings.
well, I have your spare battery, so I'll put some inside.
Oh, that explains why I'm the only one who gets candy, right? I am the robot.
Yep. Yes, but
There you
okay.
go. That lore is accurate. It's canon. I'm a robot.
Perfect. Okay, perfect.
That's why that's why I was the one who thought of the artificial intelligence episode.
Oh my god, it all makes sense.
Full circle, baby. Jesus.
Okay, but
Uh,
well, not everything's all technology here, but what else do we have that's something that you have that doesn't have?
I did want to forget the fact that I am a robot. No, just kidding.
But are
I did want to kind of mention that I have been. It's kind of been in the works, kind of as a back burner because obviously the two of us are writing things together, and I kind of want to, focus on that a lot more. But I also have personal things and ideals myself. Um, so
yep.
I like writing as a whole, as long as it's like creative and stuff that I like to write.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like I'm not someone who write an essay about how Holden Caulfield represents being in a womb,
Mm.
or whatever. I don't like really doing the things that someone tells me to write, but
Yep.
I like doing the creative projects that I myself chose. One of the
Mm-hmm.
things that I had idea about kind of inspired something that we were texting about, but I was writing my thing before that. So on and off, I've been kind of working with this book idea of, hmm, I don't want to get into, it's basically a modern spin on like Greek philosophy, not philosophy, Greek mythology, kind
Mm-hmm.
of in a modern twist, but from the point of view of Aphrodite, the love goddess. Um, I had an idea of like,
To this point, maybe we'll have a merch store if we even have if we once we get to a point, maybe we can have a merch store and you can book there.
I mean, that's definitely possible.
And by
But
the way, we don't have a merch store in case anyone goes.
not yet. No, probably not until like I don't know, 5 years from now or something.
Probably not, yeah, but
How about until we
that's it.
actually get other things going on?
Yes, but
But
yes, but the book, huh? The book sounds pretty cool.
and like it kind of gave me.
I'm sure I'll be looking forward to it, and I'm sure all the viewers will wanna know more about it.
I do not know when I'm gonna be done. A lot of the
But
a lot of the
let's
times with
not.
writing, you really never know. I
No,
could put my balls to the walls and
don't,
get it done. Don't do that.
no,
Um,
don't, don't like mass produce it. Just take your time with it.
like I could focus really hard, do like focusing pretty much on nothing else but this. However, it's probably a kind of do it in spurts, right?
Well,
Like I've
yeah,
kind of been doing it, right?
it's kind of like, well, it's like, yeah. I guess the same could be said about like this my little personal series. Like I'm also kind of want to get that going too, while I also have other tasks at the same time that I'm doing.
True.
But yeah, but that's a cool idea that you pitched there.
I
That you
don't
have.
have a title, and obviously I'm not like super done yet, right?
No,
I'm nowhere
but
even close, honestly. I
yeah.
might have like a quarter of the first chapter, maybe,
Hmm.
but just the idea of a god lives with real people. That's not like the first. I'm not the inventor of that idea. Like there have been, deities, like stories
Hmm.
about, oh, other religious deity. I mean, technically, Hercules itself is a story about like a deity who
Hmm.
comes down, and that is
Yeah.
Greek.
Mm. Yeah. But
Modern kind of tale, right?
nice. But
You,
yeah.
you
Well,
consider writing any big books?
I'm just. I think school ruined reading for me, if I'm going to be honest.
Reading is different from writing.
But writing, I was also, I was also forced to write in school too. But I'm gonna need. I'll probably write things that I want. Probably not in like the sense of a book, but I do like maybe writing scripts for movies than videos. And okay, that's a different type of writing.
What is a book, but a script that has a different point of view?
I don't know, but it's like as in terms of writing in that like a book, I just don't. Just not that my kind of thing personally, but I
What if?
still
What if? Okay, $1,000
hell no, no.
if you don't publish a book before
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 what?
you're
Before
80,
February?
before you turn 80, then I get 1,000. No, just kidding.
But no, but yeah,
I genuinely think
pretty.
that some stories that are in your mind might make great books, though.
I'm more of like a.
Genuinely, I
I'm
think you could be.
yeah. I'm more of like an info type person. Like if I look at books, I like to look at information, not necessarily like stories.
There are informational things, stories, though. You
I
ever,
meant like
you
yeah.
ever read Moby Dick?
I meant like like if I'm learning about then I could always or okay, okay, cookbooks are cool, but or okay, here's photography. You can get a photography book, but
But
I meant like that kind of books.
straight up has like 5 pages that are just knots that are used on a sailboat. They're informational. Knots are not your thing. Pun definitely intended. But
Yeah, I could see. Just don't tie it too hard. Okay.
no, uh, you just had to slip that one in, right?
Yeah, I did, but
Slip that.
yeah, I get the yeah, I got the joke.
Yeah.
I but
Uh,
but I don't know.
honestly, writing, because honestly, like the scripts and stuff that I've read of yours, of course, some of them are still in their edges, but some of them are like, finalized things. And the finalized things I don't have much of an issue with. I think you could repackage it in a book
Maybe,
sort of
maybe,
setting.
maybe.
Because I genuinely reading and writing were ruined from, education as well, right? I did not like writing because I always thought writing was just what this person tells me to write. I could tell myself to write something. It
Yeah.
saved me.
Woo!
And
But
now
yeah.
in fact, now I can't even turn it off. So suddenly I have freaking 500 stories that I can't write all of.
It's like you're a printer, like an inkjet printer, just printing out words after words after words.
If and I mean this, if there was a way, like, I don't know, Microsoft Word or Google Docs or something could get linked to my brainwaves, I would already have 1,000 books probably by now.
Oh.
Because if things go from brain to paper without me having to type things out, without me having to go back and editing and whatever, I would have,
Perfect. Well,
I would be the
woo!
god right now.
You'll be the next. You'll be the next god. Perfect.
But like thinking about like that sort of technology, it would also be awesome to get to your brain and you visualize a painting or something. And suddenly you see a painting in real life that matches the same thing that's in your head. Or even a step
Mm-hmm.
above that, a full ass movie or video game. Stuff of I think that the set be in a desert and then suddenly it turns into, oh geez, this is a 5 hour movie.
Mm-hmm.
That technology, I want that, man. That'd be great.
Oh. Yeah. But that's all. But yeah.
So fine and dandy, like Aphrodite dandy. I was
Sure.
trying
Or
to make
Yankee Doodle Dandy. Or Yankee Doodle Dandy. It doesn't matter. But I think we probably be a good time here to, just like a book, we can close it up, or just like a present, we can wrap it up.
just like a beatboxer, we could throw out all of the slurs.
Yeah, but yeah, but this is probably a good time to say thank you all for watching. But I don't know. I don't know. I didn't really have any skit ideas due to like probably a lot of other things going. Like probably like plus I have other things for this channel, so it's like I couldn't really. So I figured this would be just a hangout episode.
Yeah,
But
true. Honestly, like when it comes to at least this, I want to say month maybe. This month, a lot of the stuff has been in your court. Right?
it's like
A lot of it is in your control. You've been the one with the editing software for the skit. Let's just say we don't need to go a lot into detail, but you've been
yes,
editing that. You've
so
been focused on, you know,
I was doing that simultaneously while editing this other one of the couple pods ago.
yeah, and not to
So it
mention you've also been doing your own things.
like also like I do have also like a job outside of this, so I've been focusing on that too.
Meanwhile, I mean, just for the sake of, oh, I've been pretty this. Oh, let me plan for and let's
It's
do a
like
thumbnail.
so it did kind of burn me out a bit. So it's like okay, I'm doing a hangout episode.
Yeah, that's completely fair. Um,
And
we're
also,
both allowed much any time we want. And
yeah,
I just typically like to have a theme, but
well, oh, don't get me wrong, so do I. But just like I just need a, it just has to be like well thought out.
yeah,
But
sometimes you have to do just a hangout one, right? It just throws you everything else that you can't really prepare what you want to. So it's like, you know what? We'll move this themed one to next time.
Yeah, yeah. But
Um,
yeah, I don't know. So
so yeah, everyone, thank you for listening to episode 31 of the DomJake podcast.
yep,
Um,
and
at this time, if you are not done so, would you possibly like to? No, it's asking. That's being too kind. You
but
have to subscribe. No,
no, do it now, or the world is going to end. But no, all jokes aside, subscribe, like, and if you want to comment, you can. And if you really like our content, click the notification bell so you never miss a video.
and if
But
you don't like our content, share it to someone who does. Who knows?
yeah, or if we will not, we will report you to the police. But and anyways, well, we'll see you on the next episode.
Like
Or
like a pancake, on the flip side.
yeah, or and that's it.